Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I have to get something out of my system because I thought I'm never going to say what I'm going to say now, and that is that I'm thinking about buying more Palantir. That's crazy, and I don't have any money to buy it. I'm trying to see if how I can make money to be able to buy more Palantir, but I thought I was done with this stock. I built out a quite substantial position on Palantir at an $8 cost basis, and I was like, okay, I'm very happy with the position. I went very crazy, and at that time I put almost 85% of my portfolio only into Palantir. And I know it sounds crazy, but I always explain it in my videos that my thought is that I'm not going to diversify for diversification's sake, and I have a schedule of how I send money to my broker account that is together with my dad. And we had about $100,000 on that broker account, and I wanted to find things that I can long-term invest in. And Palantir was the one that I was ready with the due diligence on, so I put the money there, and we're sending, like we have since then sent another 100K to the portfolio and bought Rocket Lab, and this is how we want to expand our positions. But if a position that we know, because I mean sometimes that is the best thing, right? Like you have experience with the company, you've done all your due diligence, then maybe it makes sense to buy more of that company because it has already worked, you know, and you want to let your winners run. So anyways, I felt like I have to get this video out of my system because it would be a disservice to my audience if I don't do this video. So in this video, I want to lay out the case for why it's a good idea to buy Palantir before the earnings. So it might sound crazy. It's going to be an interesting video. Please make sure you're subscribed and let's get going. So the number one pushback that I get when I say that it might be time to buy Palantir, and this thing doesn't want to work. So here we go. So the number one pushback that I get is that it's so expensive, Vince. This stock has run like 300% in the last year, and it's just so expensive. The growth is not there, and so forth and so forth. So let me show you something. So last year we had a bear market and a very bad market crash, and you were able to get this unbelievable company for below $5. And that was something that was very strange. So last year people didn't know, they couldn't make heads or tails out of Palantir. They thought this was a consulting company. They thought that this company was going to go bankrupt because they weren't GAAP profitable, even though they had an operational cash flow, and you know, they had more money in the bank after every quarter. People still thought that they will run out of money. Don't ask me how. This is how stupid the price was at the end of 2022. And yes, compared to that point, the stock has 3x. Okay, but now we came out of insane times, so now we're in normal times. So you have to. I agree with you that this opportunity on Palantir is not the same as when Palantir was at $6. But hear me out. So if you are a long-term Palantir investor, because that's what the channel is for. It's for long-term investor. If you're a short-term trader, please don't let the door hit you on the way out. So if you're a long-term trader or investor, then you're expecting Palantir to do something like this. I mean, I could have exchanged this chart to Salesforce or you know, Netflix or any other very long-term growth company that has grown for, you know, 10, 15, even more plus years. And the point that I'm trying to make is, for example, this is Apple, and you see it didn't go up in a straight line. It's a very steady uptrend, you know, very hard to miss the uptrend wherever you look at the chart, but it's not steady. It's ups and downs and ups and downs. And if you were bullish on Apple, all of these down things, they were buy the dip opportunities. They were opportunities. And I'm sure that when Apple was here, people thought, oh my God, this is so expensive. And then when it came down to here, they said, oh, it's still so expensive. I want it down back to $5 or something. And look, if you would have bought in 2013 at this expensive place at $17, you would have almost 20x your money by now. So it would have been one of the biggest mistakes of your investment career. So again, this is not the same opportunity when Palantir was at $6. That was insane. We're not in that market anymore. Now we're in a normal bullish market, and we can expect these pullbacks to happen, and they are buy the dip opportunities. So you can see that here, this opportunity is about 9 months, and the fall is about 30-40%. Then you can see that a few years later, same thing. This is a year, but the fall is not as deep as here, or not as steep. Still 30-40%, and you can see these dips. This is 3-4 months. This is the COVID dip right here. We all know it's one of the fastest crashes. And again, every dip was an opportunity. So if we go back to Palantir, we see that the stock rallied to $22, almost $22, and we came back down to 15 point something. It's almost 30%. It's 29 or 28.9, something like this. I did the math before the video, and the stock has not gone anywhere since June. So that's a 7-month going sideways for the stock. Okay, so I understand it went 3x up from an insane situation, but forget that ever happened. Okay, so we are going sideways. And what is the thing that is happening in the company? So everywhere you look, you see AIP Bootcamp, and you hear the customer successes. So there was one customer in the healthcare sector that said they started to use, I really should have checked the numbers. I'm so bad at mixing up the numbers, but I think she said that they started using Palantir on one department, on one use case, and they had over $1 million in savings in like some very short amount of time, okay? And she was like beaming from happiness and saying like, imagine what it can do to our organization if we start implementing this everywhere. And you hear these success stories everywhere, okay? Then you see the heads of the companies, Mr. Karp, you see at the World Economic Forum, and he has been confident. So you know how like sometimes Elon goes up on stage and he says like, we're going to have FSD this year, and everybody's like, yeah, that's just Elon time, don't even listen to him. So Karp is the opposite. Usually when he goes out and says something, he has never let us down. So when he says that they're getting insane demand, every time there was earnings call, it turned out that yes, it was insane demand. And when he said, we're going to be GAAP profitable, people didn't believe him, and they became GAAP profitable. And then he said, we're going to be GAAP profitable for 4 quarters in a row, many, many years ahead of schedule. Then they did it. So Karp is, I don't want to say not a bullshit artist, because Elon Musk is definitely not a bullshit artist, but when he makes a prediction, you better damn listen. He has not let us down. And it's not even that he's confident in his interviews. When you look at his interviews, is that he's cocky and confident. So he was telling ex-Palantir employees who went to work in other startups that they made the biggest financial mistake in their life, because Palantir is going to be worth so much. He was saying that he sees their company at a $60 billion valuation. We are at $35 billion valuation. He seems very confident, very happy, and I just cannot imagine that if things were going bad at his company, he would be that happy and that confident, and the earnings would shit the bed. So they must be doing amazing, okay? Then you have the other guy, Shyam Sankar, who just did an interview with Tom Nash. Fantastic interview, actually. And Shyam is a very funny guy. He sometimes sounds like ChatGPT to me, and he was the one who, I don't want to say I didn't like him, but I was very like neutral to him on Palantir. And in this interview, it's like he's so calm, as if he was coming from a vacation. And if you're telling me that the top leader of the company looks like he's back from vacation, I mean, if it was messy or, going very bad at the company, do you think he would look like that? Do you think he would talk like that? And he had stories after stories about how AIP is fantastic. He said that his favorite story was that one company was very reluctant to come to the boot camp. It was sort of like Palantir was doing them a service, and they were already working on an AI solution with the whole company for 4 months. They came to one day of the AIP. He went back to the company, and then he got the whole board to scrap the full 4 months that they were working with the other product, and they signed with Palantir. And that's really, really, really amazing. So, and I have this valuation model that you can get access to if you sign up to the Patreon, and it's $5 a month. And obviously the most important thing is that you're here and you watch and you can see the numbers here. But I'm just letting you know that these things are up on the Patreon, and the link is in the description box below. And I've explained this table in a lot of detail before. I just want to quickly go over it. This is my assumptions, okay? Assumptions change, obviously, what the price is. My assumption is that they will go back to a 25% growth for the company. That is sustainable growth. So I'm expecting them to grow at a 25% clip. I might be pessimistic with this, but it's a number that I feel confident with. The operating margin, so this is their free cash flow margin from operations. There is like other things, stock-based compensation is not included in this. And I want to know in 2025 and in 2030, what is the cash flow that they're going to produce? And then based on the cash flow, I want to add a multiple to that and then come to a stock price. And then we have to discount that back to what would that be for us today. So with this logic, I get a 869 million free cash flow from operations in 2025. And if you put a 50 multiple on that, and these are the share numbers, I'm calculating with 3% dilution per year, then you have a 43 million market cap, you divide it back with the shares, and that's an $18 share price. Now, we have 2 years, 2024 and 2025, to get to that number. If you want a 20% return, then 50 per year, then you would want to buy at $15.40. If you want the 20% return all the way up to 2030, which is 2024, 5, 6, 7, 8, many, many years of 20% growth, which is fantastic, really, really fantastic growth from the company, then 1487 is the price to buy below, right? But the last earnings quarters, they have been way higher than 25%. I think the last in Q2, I believe they were 31%, and in Q3 they were 29%. So if you would increase this number to just 27%, which is still quite pessimistic, you can see that 16.63 is a very good price for the stock, or 16.06 is if you're looking to hold it up to 2030. Now, you can see that the stock price, if we look at it, is a little bit higher than this. And again, as I said, this is not the same opportunity when Palantir was at $6. But if you're a bull of this company, if you were someone who looked at this company and said, I missed it at $6, and you are looking for a place to add back into the stock, I think that there's a very good case to be made that now is the time to start adding to your position. And what's the worst thing that can happen? Earnings is not going to be horrible, okay? The only thing that can happen is instead of 25% growth, they are growing a bit slower than people are expecting, and probably the growth is going to accelerate with the AIP. But again, the price has fallen almost 30%. Most of it is priced in. I don't see where the stock would fall. Of course, the stock market can be very, very irrational. I'm just saying, there is not a lot of risk right now with earnings because we're going into earnings with a 30+% fall. So that means that expectations are on the floor. And if you look at the company from behind the scenes and on the videos and what customers are saying, it looks like the company is delivering like crazy. And that is an asymmetry that I really, really like as an investor. So do what you want with this video. I am looking for ways that I can increase my position. I'm really out of money. I went quite deep into Rocket Lab. Maybe, just maybe I will sell put options on Palantir. Nothing is decided, but the lower the price goes from here, the crazier the opportunity and the more inclined I am to do this. So just wanted to be fully transparent. This is my thoughts about Palantir. Let me know in the comments what you think. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.